Good morning. My name is Derry, and today I wanted to share how my friend forced me into playing Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, I'm pulling off a little bit of a ruse right now. He didn't force me to play Xenoblade Chronicles. I fell into a trap where he was put into a unfortunate deal where he was playing through the Kingdom Hearts franchise already through a mutual friend, and I said, hey, if you beat all of Kingdom Hearts, I'll try one Xenoblade game. Now, first off, that's not really a fair deal. The amount of time it would take to play through the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise is significantly larger than it would to play a single JRPG. In spite of that, he played every single Kingdom Hearts game, including the mobile games, where he finally fell in love with the franchise. Now, I think Kingdom Hearts is amazing, and I don't think it normally takes that long to get into, but he was very passionate about giving himself a hellish experience. Playing on the hardest difficulty, not putting any effort to, throw any works into the mechanics to actually try to get better at the game. Instead, he just threw himself against a brick wall over and over until eventually he got through it. Which, on one hand, I think is very commendable. On the other hand, I think that is the dumbest way to get into a game. Some games are designed for that, but Kingdom Hearts is not one of them. It's just a happy-go-lucky, light versus darkness, feel-good game that has a really low skill flooring and a high skill ceiling. And if you try to approach the high skill ceiling without actually learning to understand the mechanics, that's just a bad time. Now, he went through that onslaught and played the entire series, which, first of all, ridiculous that you did that without being completely in love with it throughout the entire experience. He actually forced himself to go through it, and a part of me says he did it just so I would play his favorite game, Xenoblade Chronicles, which, I got hats off. Good. You won. I'm playing the game now. I'm playing Xenoblade. I've started it. It's been interesting. See, the thing is, Xenoblade isn't inherently my natural cup of tea. I thought that some of the Xenoblade Chronicles I've seen were very interesting. Xenoblade 2, however, was extremely off-putting to me from its advertisements and the gameplay I saw. He's even told me himself that he doesn't think that the game is really that pleasurable, really that enjoyable, really that fun until, the third act of the game, which is way too much of investment to get a payoff for me, personally. But I did agree to play Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and I'm playing it. First of all, the setting is really fascinating. The world takes place inside the bodies of two dead titans, from my memory. The Bionis, and some other one I don't really care about. But yeah, imagine these two giant, cool, gigantic mecha dudes, and they're just like, I punch you, no, I punch you, and they're just punching, and then they die. They fought, they die. Their bodies become the world that the characters are residing within, and they're trying to climb it, and I'm like, that is a very cool setup. That completely wowed me. I was very captivated by how they set up the world. One thing that's really off-putting, though, is I'm not a mecha person. So any kind of position where a character gets into a mech of some kind of makes my brain go static noise. It's not that I actively dislike mechs. I grew up with Power Rangers. I do have some appreciation for them and can definitely respect them when they're being showcased really well. But for some reason, whenever it came to mechas in anime or games, it always just made my brain turn off. There was just this level of enjoyment that kind of got cut dry for me. What makes it worse is when it's a military-focused mecha for me. I don't know why. Just, even when I'm watching a military movie, I cannot be as engaged as with any other movie. Something about mechas and warfare and politics, all of that is just an instant turnoff for my brain in engagement. And I will say, after playing Xenoblade for a bit, there's not been a lot of mechas. There's not been a lot of mechs. There was one mech at the very beginning, but I won't spoil anything for those of you that have not played Xenoblade. It didn't last long. They also have this giant, beautiful red blade with easily one of the prettiest sword designs I've ever seen. And it's called the Monado. And the main protagonist, Shulk, he holds the blade and then he starts seeing into the future. And I find it interesting. He essentially has the power of foresight, which, come on, we all wish we had that. On top of that, the sword is also just giving him a lot of really sick buffs. And the gameplay is really weird. It's real-time turn-based action, and it looks like I'm playing an MMO. But it's strictly single player. It's very unique. It's very Xenoblade. And it's very conflicting for someone that did not have the most positive first look going into it. But as I'm going through it, I'm doing my best to enjoy it for my friend. And, you know, with a more positive outlook while playing it, it has been a lot more enjoyable, especially when he's there with me so we can crack jokes, pass the time, and try to understand the mechanics. Grinding and leveling in JRPGs is always a chore, but it also is a part of the love and glamour of the genre. I would say easily the hardest thing for me to get past while playing the game has been the voice acting. I don't know why. When British people voice act anime characters, it sounds so bizarre to me. I've always watched my anime subbed growing up. I think a lot of dub work uses a lot of the same voice actors for animes, and I think it's not always the best casted, best fitted. There's so many times where the voice actor for a character doesn't exactly fit in my head. There's many scenarios where a character where I expect them to be talking a bit more high, having fun. Oh my gosh! Is that you? You know, something like that. They end up sounding like, yeah. I came around these parts and saw that nothing was upright. Oh, hey, is that you? And my head hurts. I don't like these brutish, just very, like, broad depictions of characters as they get translated into the English medium. I think a lot of the times the voices don't fit how the character would act and how I would perceive them. And because of that, it's hard for me to sit through a lot of dubs. Furthermore, with the British voice actors of these characters, I can't take it seriously at all. I don't know why. I think England is a fictional place. If you live there, I do not think you are a real person. The accents are so, on one hand, British accents are completely alluring. They are so cool and badass. On the other hand, they are so silly, outlandish, and goofy to me. They are both sides of the spectrum, and they are at the most extreme degrees at every given moment. And I never know how I'm going to react when I hear one. I think they're great. I think they're, the silliest thing I've ever heard. But I don't think it fits well for my ears in Xenoblade. I think everyone sounds a bit goofy, and I can't take them seriously, which really ruins my immersion while watching the cutscenes and listening to them in gameplay. And yeah, no, the voice acting in there is very, very difficult for me. I don't know. That's kind of like the worst part for me. The voice acting. I'm not the biggest fan of it. No, that's actually the worst part of it for me. Every other aspect of Xenoblade, I think I've been relatively enjoying. Parts that I'm not particularly in love with, I'm able to get through because my friend is very good at just making me enjoy it. I am excited to see where the story goes because it's been picking up a bit more from where I'm currently at. Although, recently he's managed to make it so that I am going to be playing it consistently. How did he do that? Today, I was in a call with him, and he said, let's make a pact. Every week, I will watch some Ben 10, and you will play some Xenoblade. And I immediately said yes, because I love Ben 10. We're on Season 3 of Alien Force. Vilgax the Conqueror just showed up and got his ass handed to him by Diamond Head. My friend is very optimistic about where the season's going to go, because that's a very, very nice start. I'm very excited to just get some more Ben 10 time in my life. I love Ben 10. It's a show I grew up with, and I could watch it forever on end. So I'm very excited. This was his deal, and I accepted. So now I get to watch Ben 10 every week and get I'm going to get to play Xenoblade. This is really a win-win for both of us, and I couldn't be happier. Alright, that's all I had to really ramble about today. Sorry that the drawing just kind of took an immediate shift away from the drawing of Shulk. I really didn't like the colors. They look muted. They looked gross. So I just decided to go something a bit more symbolic of the bond. And that's where we are. Alright, thank you for listening. Take care. Goodbye.